Okay guys, I want to talk about something that a lot of townships, a lot of cities require you to do when you're finishing your basement, and that is fire blocking, fire stopping, same thing. In a nutshell, what that is it's creating a burn wall, a barrier, to keep the flames of a fire started in the basement from getting up through to the next level of the home, up to the first floor. And it is code in a lot of areas. So depending upon your individual township, your city, like I work in 5, 6 different townships here, some require it, some do not. All right, the township that I'm in today does require it. So I want to show you what we're doing, because if your township asks for it when you pull permits, here's what you're going to have to do. If you look up here in these cavities up here, in between the 2x4s in my wall, you're going to notice we put blocks of 2x4 tight between each bay of the wall, each cavity. Every 16 inches there's a block of wood shot up there in between the 2x4s. Alright, that is a fire stop. That keeps the fire from being able to go up and behind the wall, burn up into this cavity between the floor joists and get to the first floor. Alright, that is fire stopping, fire blocking. Now if you can't cut it completely tight between the 2x4s, let's say there's a little crack, they have what's called fire caulking, or I guess the stuff we're using. Let me see if I can find a can of that. Show you exactly what we're using here. I bought this at Home Depot. This is made by D.I.Y. You can see there that it's a polyurethane fire block foam sealant that comes out like an expansion foam. And any place that we had a crack that we couldn't stop with wood, we just took this fire sealant and we just sprayed a little bit along the crack, and they will accept this. It definitely passes all the codes. Alright, so we have gone along every bay on the exterior walls, every single bay, and have fire stop, fire block the top of our wall. And where we couldn't get wood to block, we used the sealant. Alright, so if your township requires you to fire block, fire stop, you're going to want to get yourself a couple cans of the foam sealant, or they just make it in regular tubes of caulking. You can use that as well. This is much quicker, and actually one can of this, it says right on the can here, one can of this is like 10 tubes of caulk, so it's much more economical to buy the foam. I think this was like 10 bucks for this can. And then in addition to this, you're going to want to cut 2x4s. I'm going to show you one more example back here in the bedroom, where we were much further away from the block wall because we had this big pipe in here. So we had this 6-inch, 5-inch cavity behind the wall here. Up at the top, instead of using 2x4s up there, you pan up there, you can see we've had to use 2x8 to close off this up here because we were so far away from the exterior wall. So we fire blocked with 2x8 in here. Most of the time you're just going to be using chunks of 2x4. So check with your local township, find out if you have to do it first. You may not have to, but if you have to, track down the code officer who's actually going to be inspecting your job, have a 5-minute conversation with them, and make sure you're doing it according to local codes, and save yourself a heck of a lot of aggravation.